6ix9ine. Damn, fine. She can sing it to me one more time and roll. Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window, to the window, to the wall, to the wall. The sweat drop down my ball. My ball. The whole thing crawl. The whole ski motherfucker. Motherfucker. The whole ski goddamn. I got that. The whole ski motherfucker. The whole ski goddamn. I got that. Shawty crook, so fresh, so clean. And she fucked that question, been harassing me.
Hey everybody, you may or may not, I don't know how this is going to work, have heard a little introduction from Diabetes, but we are crashing Retsutalk.
I hope we had our own theme song.
Oh damn, we should get someone to make a theme song.
I could beatbox, but I don't actually know how to do that. So.
You're probably hearing this in midweek, but we are recording Sunday evening because we just did our own convention. It's not like PAX in that there were hardly any video games, but
I bought a lot of video games.
they were there.
All impulse buys.
Yeah, by the way, this is Chip and Ironicus, if you don't recognize us from episode 13. Yeah, we were in that.
And
I was in 3 and 3.5.
I was
so
in
this
another.
is honorary episode 23, if you ask me. Anyhow, we're going to talk about C2E2, the Chicago Comics and Entertainment Expo. Diabetes offered to host this sort of thing, in case we had something interesting to say.
If you watch our videos, you might be familiar with it, because we talked about it 2 years ago?
Yeah, because that's the last time I went. This was the 4th annual. I went in 2011, the 2nd annual, and this year I convinced you to come on out and have a good time. And did you have a good time?
Yes. I have one question about
The end. We're done. Had a good time.
Right.
Now you know.
No. When you went the last time, would you say the last time or this time had more secondhand embarrassment?
You know, it's hard to say. Now, see, this year, it grew a lot, like exponentially. So there's just a lot more of everything this year. So while I might say there's more secondhand embarrassment, I'd say the ratio to good stuff is about the same.
Okay.
It's just more of everything.
All right. But did you personally see more embarrassing things this year or last time?
You know, last time there was Mario Bueno.
There was Mario Bueno.
Nothing is embarrassing.
Mario Bueno,
Mario Bueno
is a man who I think is in his late 30s or early 40s maybe, but he has nice gelled anime hair, and he sings anime songs, and on his actual albums, I think he's auto-tuned, but on stage he's not, so he's just going Jibuo. But
which we actually heard.
Yeah, he was there in spirit. A lot of anime theme songs, for some reason, preceded Patton Oswalt and also Brian Posehn.
And the rest of the Comedy Mutant crew. I figure we'll get to them. So, want to sort of do this chronologically?
Sure.
Well, that's Saturday. We'll get to it soon.
Yeah.
So 3D event. Let's talk about what we saw and what we liked and what was funny. You want to start from your train ride on Thursday, actually?
Oh yeah, my train ride was uneventful and I slept through most of it. And there was nobody sitting next to me. I had power outlets to plug my shit into, and it was nice. But there was the overwhelming smell of ranch, like chip dip in the air, because there was somebody sitting behind me that I'm assuming is a lady, but I never actually saw the majority of her, who, like, I could smell it, so I looked behind me, like, through the cracks between the chairs, and I could see, like, a single hand reaching into a literal giant mason jar full of ranch dip.
So just imagine this woman's husky voice saying, "I'll get you next time, Gadget."
It's just like, it was...
And your barbecue sauce. But that was fun, and I met you off the train, because the wonderful thing about the scheduling is it's during my lunch break. And
then I had a cell phone call with my dad about hentai. Because he needed to know. He needed to know what it was called. So
we learned a lot about hentai in the next couple days. So a lot of good examples. Well,
it's called hentai.
Examples.
Dad. Get it right, you pleb. I won't even call you my father.
That's probably the most notable thing. I mean, we went out to dinner and caught up and chatted about like wedding stuff and our lives, but y'all don't
adult
care about
things.
That. Nobody cares. I care, but I wouldn't call it entertaining. So yeah, Friday, got up bright and early. The first thing we wanted to see was Puppet Meltdown. Now, I love puppets.
I like puppets too, mainly just seeing people make them or the process.
I love the art of puppets. I love that it's... it's just a technique. It's a medium that has so much diversity. I mean, there's bunraku, and there's Muppets, and there's shadow puppetry, and just
there's
Punch
Jeff
and
Dunham.
Judy and Jeff Dunham.
He's good at making puppets, I gotta say.
But Puppet Meltdown didn't have a lot of that.
None of the puppets melted,
It was...
and none of the craters.
This is a show they actually do. It's just a mashup of a bunch of like 3 to 5 minute short presentations from independent puppet creators, and it's usually pretty cool. Where were the cool people this time?
Do they just let anybody on? Can you just apply and
There might have been a part of the screening process. Also, we have my fiance here. She was with us. She's knitting and trying to stay quiet, but she's an expert in puppetry. Please answer the question.
You have to apply and you are selected, but you have to submit some form of your work, whether it's a video or samples of what it would be in a written or a script.
Okay.
And then they select who normally performs.
Man, did not that many people apply? Is that how the bad people got in?
I think it's since it was a C2E2 special thing, they were trying to go for geeky things that would appear.
Okay, and that was the best they
probably
could find.
didn't get that many applications.
They were shooting for the greasiest common denominator, is the thing. Now, it's not to say they were all bad.
There were three?
There were some pretty good ones. There was one that was really good, actually, from an acquaintance, even a friend of of ours.
Yeah, that was a good
It was
one.
created by a guy named Mike Olean. It's pretty awesome.
He's really cool. It was a story of a scalp with hair grown from stem cells in a lab for product testing so that they don't have to use animals. And it was just this really cool, dark humor.
You get to see a wig and eyeballs fuck.
Like an adult Leave It to Beaver about the idyllic suburban life of just a living scalp and just eyeballs on a stick.
And they had a flap of human skin as a pet.
As a dog. They had the flap of human skin. That one was really good.
That one was funny, yeah.
And they had this guy who was... I really like the technical side. I mean, I thought his performance could have been better, but the dragon in the box...
Oh, yeah.
It was basically two puppets at once, like a really cool articulated dragon suit.
Yeah, it was made out of...
inside a cardboard box. It had all these movable flaps, so you could see one part of the dragon come out and then a different part. And he was dressed as a knight with, like, egg carton armor, so he could pop out.
Yeah, and you could, like, flip the box over and throw red confetti out, like he's tearing his guts out.
Yeah.
That guy was really into it, too, at the end. When he killed the dragon.
I think he could... His fabrication is really cool. He could work with somebody else on his, like, choreography and telling a story, but, I mean...
Yeah,
his puppet building skill was really interesting.
Because there was no music or anything, so you're just watching the cardboard box kind of flop around every once... Yeah.
Then there was the garbage. Let's get to that part of Puppet Meltdown.
Oh, no, there was one other good guy, though. It was the video. The dude with the squirrel puppet and...
Oh, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know, this thing about, oh, no, my boring 20-something humdrum life, but there's whimsy in the world, and you've seen that 1,000 times, but he did it really, really well.
Mm-hmm. There's some stop motion in there.
Yeah.
A nice song.
I did like that one quite a bit. And yeah, he performed his own music. The guy was really good. But yeah, now let's get to the garbage.
And then there was lots of garbage.
There was this other video about two people and a bat in their house, and they hit it with a tennis racket until it died. That's the story of this video.
Yeah, and it was presented like an old-timey, like, short film you'd see.
No, just the worst
Silent film.
film scratch, filmware effect you can
They probably
put on
had
top
Magic
of it.
Bullet in After Effects, and they just threw that on top.
Tinkly, old-timey saloon piano music.
But the thing was is that the music was not as long as the video, so there were multiple times where it was the just normal, like, fuzzy piano. Stop. It looped like 3 times.
And their puppet was just
their puppet was
on a
just
stick.
it was just a cardboard cutout of a bat on a stick with googly eyes glued to it. It was awful, and it wasn't funny. It was just long and
then in the middle there was in the middle, but like in the middle quality-wise, with those two guys that just did comedy skits, improvised comedy skits. I wish it was less improvised. They had a couple of good jokes.
They had some good jokes and good ideas that need to not be improvised.
It took a while to get there, yeah.
And they appeared 3 times.
They were like the run-ons. They were the linking thing.
Yeah.
They were the most typical. Like, they had Muppet-looking puppets.
And then there was the level 5 dwarf.
That was bad.
They had a cute puppet.
They did.
A dwarf-type Muppet guy
It was this
neat hats.
The story was this song about a level 1 thief who drinks an elixir of power and becomes a level 5 dwarf. And then he cuts off a pit fiend's nutsack. I'm not making this up. That was in the song.
But the song was bad.
It was so bad.
And kind of long, and they had like a little video presentation
and the singing voice was actually like this. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, and they had a...
There was closed caption.
And the closed captions were spelled incorrectly multiple times! They messed up then with than every single time! Also, the drawings in the video that went along with the song were terrible. They was just garbage in MS Paint.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't a Getty Images logo there. It would have been better. They could actually get actual pictures of men in dwarf costumes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for playing your nerd games, but don't write terrible songs about it. Please don't. So after that was the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical Shadowcast, so he got up and walked away. Okay, go ahead.
There were 2 other puppet things.
I'm not going to try to remember everything.
There was the dancing robot thing with the...
Oh, that was the worst!
The 2 people who were... It was like, oh, we're going on OK Cupid, but there's nobody here for us. Let's build a robot that'll get us...
Now at this point, you imagine
somehow.
the obvious ending is these 2 friends will end up dating one another.
But no, instead they just build this robot behind a curtain, and then the curtain's there.
They have a terrible dance-off because the robot is not articulated enough to dance.
So they just had a person sitting behind it, just picking up the arms and wiggling them around.
I mean, I get that's what a puppet is, but you need more moving parts for your dancing puppet.
Yeah. It was the head, and they just picked it up and turned it around sometimes, and they moved the arms. And the other people danced along with it, but...
Terribly.
And the set started falling down. On
Oh no, we can't move on yet because the worst was the actually improvised shadow puppetry.
Yeah.
Shadow puppetry is very important in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you want to be called something in this? Can I use your name? Because I'm going to refer to you a lot.
Your fiance.
Okay, my fiance was in... We should have worked this out ahead of time. This is the magic of podcasting, folks. My fiance was in several shadow puppetry shows, one of which was like Show of the Week in the Sun-Times.
Yes.
And in fact, the critic liked it so much, like, the image of that review was front page above the fold of the Chicago Sun-Times. So that's awesome. But shadow puppetry is actually really cool, and just from this show alone, there are a lot of people trained in making really cool stuff out of it. This was not really cool at all.
No.
It was improvised, and so, you call out name an animal. They started with an animal.
No,
an animal and an emotion. That's what it was.
No, they had to combine 2 animals.
I thought that just happened because she heard 2 suggestions she liked.
It was supposed to be a
animal,
all
but
she heard was those 2 people talking. So
cat,
tried to make
elephant.
Feel well.
So we had the tale of the most ennui catelephant.
Catelephant.
And now we're at... If you know anything about a comic convention, you know that there are cool people. You also know they seem to be outnumbered a lot of times.
And they also don't speak up because they know they're outnumbered. And what's the point? Fuck it.
So you just had the most, nerd bait, unsatisfying suggestions to every
Who did the cat elephant see? Han Solo! But he shot first.
And part of the cool thing about a good shadow puppetry show is you make cool shadow puppets.
But since it was improv, they just had to use
pre-existing cutouts stuff and try to make it work. It didn't work.
Look, it's a catelephant. Oh, it's a cutout of a shark on a box.
One of the most disappointing things about that is that shadow puppetry is such a precise art form.
And they were just kind of slapping cutouts
it around.
They were just slapping it and just
on the
throwing
projector.
It off. And here's another thing, and there was absolutely no art to that. It was just, oh, here's an image. Well, you can just tape that to the wall if you wanted to.
I feel like they cut their act short because they knew it was garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of a quick ending.
Oh, thank Catelephant for small favors.
It was even that kind of defeated, like, the lady who was presenting. It was like, the end.
That's your finale, folks. Coming up, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical Shadowcast.
Yeah. We did not stay around for that. Did not want to be there.
We did go to the Cyanide and Happiness panel. That's the next programming we...
That panel was okay.
That was... see, the problem... If any of you out here followed our live tweets of everything we did on the floor, a lot of this is going to be redundant, because that's the most memorable thing, is the stuff we shared on Twitter.
Yep.
But the Cyanide and Happiness panel, if you're not aware, it's a very popular web comic that is also done animations, and they're going to do a lot more of those, because they had a Kickstarter. To fund that sort of thing, and they showed some of their animations that they brought with them, and those were funny. But the entire thing was a Q&A from their fans. That was not funny.
No.
No.
Because
Where do you get your jokes from? What?
That was like the
joke.
That was like the first or second question. Where do you get your jokes? How do you make your jokes?
Joke, mean word, funny laugh. How?
I don't know where jokes come from. I want to make jokes to a girl next door.
If I write something on a note of paper and I sleep with it under my pillow, will the joke fairy come and add a punchline? Will that happen?
Can I exchange my punched out teeth for jokes?
What's your script
What's the
writing
exchange rate for
process?
creativity? Help!
So between, like, the thing, if you've ever been to a panel, you've heard that question. You've heard, what's your writing process? And you've heard the one that I don't think came up. How do you break in?
Yeah, that was in every other one, though.
Every other one.
Oh, there was also the garbage question. What's your favorite color? He liked blue.
No, he liked orange.
He liked orange.
Right, god damn it. But in between the incredibly banal questions while I swill my brandy about comic convention panels, there were just the worst... I think this guy should have been asking you how to make a joke, because when you ask fuck, marry, kill, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, you're clearly trying to be funny, but don't know how.
Yeah.
So the best part of that panel, even better than the animations, which are good, like, hey, check them out, Cyanide and Happiness animations, good stuff.
Yeah,
was them fielding these terrible questions.
their comedy isn't exactly my thing, but I still appreciate their animations, because you can still tell that they are well made.
I really like the one that was really short. It was the Barbershop Quartet
Barbershop
out a
Quartet.
girl in a taxi.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, you have nice tits, and then
Shit! And then they crash into a tree very slowly, and one guy just kind of gently falls out a window.
Well, no, because the guy that says nice tits is the driver.
Oh, yeah.
Who goes out the window, and then the fourth member is like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And they crash. That's great!
That was good.
We skipped a lot of the stuff that I probably would have gone to, because I'm, swilling my brandy at a comic convention, stuff about the future of publication and the thing about white scripts, black Supermen, comics, and identity. That gets my motor running, and that's boring as hell, so we didn't go. So we went back to the variant stage. The variant stage is the stage on the show floor where they did performances. That's where Puppet Meltdown was. That's where a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about was at. Because seeing something performed is usually a lot more entertaining than hearing some people talk at a desk.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in it for that schadenfreude, secondhand embarrassment. So we went downstairs to Kill Shakespeare dramatic stage reading. This is another thing we have friends/acquaintances working in. There's a graphic novel called Kill Shakespeare. It's the League of Extraordinary Shakespeare characters, basically. And they turned this graphic novel into a staged reading, and they did an excerpt from it. And it was... A lot of the problems I had come down with the script. Maybe if I read Kill Shakespeare, I'd like it better.
Yeah.
But
the actual performers were good, although it was...
giving it their all. I think they were giving it a little too much of their all. Like, they were doing these big, boisterous radio drama voices.
And it's kind of weird to hear that when you can see them.
see their face.
Yeah.
But those things sort of overlap, so we got there right as old King Hamlet was just screaming blood for 2 minutes.
That guy was my favorite. He had a really good throaty, gurgly blood for a minute straight, and then I looked at projector,
and then it crossfaded into sex noises. They did an audio crossfade. These guys are pros.
I really enjoyed that the blood screaming was accompanied with the picture, like a panel of
like him, like tearing his face
was it
apart.
Hamlet's dad? Yeah, of just tearing skin off his face, and that was
ghost face.
I was happy that was the first thing I saw because that is metal as hell.
He is his own ghost face killer. It's amazing. So that was fun. I'd be more interested in seeing their regular staging rather than that thrown together promotional staging.
It's a very weird setting.
Or reading the book. That half and half kind of left me a bit cold, but
Yeah.
better than what came next. Do you recall what came next?
It's a blur. What happened?
Stand up.
Oh, yes! Oh my god, I think that was actually my
was the
favorite
worst thing.
That was my favorite thing of the day because it was so bad.
We're just for anybody who's ready to turn it off because we're being so negative. Saturday's programming and
Was very good.
Sunday's programming very good.
Everything we went to was good.
Also, the show floor, the vendors, Artist Alley, Signature Line, really good.
The majority of people's costumes also great.
Friday's programming, or at least the bits we took in, not very good.
No. A lot of the secondhand embarrassment was on Friday. Get it out of the way.
So Stand Up is a series of stand-up shows, local, just starting out comedians, the comedians of tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good thing that comedians of today are funny.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all I have to say
everybody's.
about that.
I think just about everybody starting out is pretty not good. So I mean,
They're learning.
if
They're learning.
any of those guys will become good, it's because that they don't get embarrassed when they have a bad showing, which was everyone at that showing.
I will say they all had minimum one good joke.
If you took every single
Maximum
joke,
3.
if you took every single good joke from each person and put them all together,
make a set.
you would have one good set.
Actually, I'm not sure everyone had a joke, because those sisters in the spandex animal suits,
Yeah.
they did not have jokes. They had shtick, and
Yeah.
it did not land for me one bit.
No. When they came on, I was hopeful
They're
for some
ironic
reason.
about being hipsters. Where do you go from
They
there?
were in skin-tight leopard print bodysuits.
One was a zebra. Thank you.
Oh,
very
that's right. One was a zebra.
much. They were.
They looked like they
don't
might have been nice people. I don't know.
I don't think they ever crossed into funny. They were consistently amusing.
Yeah.
So they were consistent at something.
Just reminded me of some really drunk / high theater people that
Yeah.
are just hanging out on a Saturday night in costume on Halloween. That's really what their skit was.
Yeah. But they were one of the last acts.
They were one of the. They had something. I'm looking and I'm reminded. The thing that kept people entertained is one of the guys actually has a writing gig with Dark Horse Comics, and so they had some cool stuff to give away, like the Hyrule Historia and the BioShock Infinite art book.
I really wanted to win one of those, but
Instead, he bought them.
instead I spent $80 buying both.
We did not win them, but
No.
that's what kept people in their seats. I learned that every stand-up comic in Chicago is unemployed.
Yeah. Except they're stand-up comics and they have gigs regularly at places, so they must be getting something in compensation.
Free drinks, I suppose.
I hope that's at least...
I learned so much about working at Halloween USA. I learned
Yep.
a lot about getting fired from restaurants. I
Yep.
learned a lot about getting fired from offices.
Yep.
I know everything I need to know to get fired in Chicago.
I kept wondering,
I never use
because
it.
all those people must have known each other or something. I was
Was
like...
there somebody in the back just, oh, fuck, my unemployment
Oh,
jokes.
god damn it.
God,
No!
Ah,
It's been 3 rows of
all I
unemployment
know
jokes.
is unemployment.
Well, if you did notice, the last few comedians had much shorter time on the stage,
I think
so I think they might have started cutting.
Yeah.
There was one good one. There was one that I would say was good. He was the one who had the wife and kid. And he had really good jokes about his wife and kid.
Oh, I can't remember
About
those.
how when a baby comes home, I don't know who the hell this kid is. What?
Oh, yeah.
Why am I hanging? I like him enough so he can suck on my wife's boobs. He's really charming. You can tell that I would not let any of
That
you
guy was
suck on my
alright.
wife's boobs.
He
That was
seems-
the best joke of the whole hour.
Yeah. That guy seems like if he worked more, he could be funny.
Yeah.
Because he had at least had some kind of personality and voice behind his stuff. Unlike everybody else, where it's like... they all had that kind of... I don't even know how to explain it. What people who are like amateur comedians, they always have this kind of I know, like in between their jokes, and it's always the same.
He had a flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is stand up. If we had a time machine, like if we had an inkling of what would have happened, we would have been in the front row with a camcorder, and you'd be seeing a riff video of us just like internet heckling them.
Yeah. We need to talk about some of the bad jokes, though.
Oh yeah.
The guy who stuck in my mind the most was like the third guy.
The meatball guy?
The meatball man.
Fuck him and his meatballs.
He just gets one of his first things he talks about is like, yeah, so I grew up in a racist family.
3 jokes later, he's talking about black people at the movie theater.
So how black people like to talk about movies? Go like, oh, he's gonna get killed. Well, he got his free stuff because whatever movie they were seeing was like the film burned or something.
I think it was episode 1 and the film burned right during the title crawl, which I doubt. Thank you very much.
No.
Yeah.
And there was just this bullshit about meatballs, just him eating meatballs. And the worst thing though was, aside from that, there was one guy sitting like in front of us and to the left who fucking loved the meatball jokes. He was the only one, and he was laughing so loudly.
His diet must consist solely of meatballs to find this funny. So that's stand up. My blood pressure won't let me talk about that anymore.
So my family was racist, and
so am I!
I'm racist too! How about those black people? But he got us free stuff, so that was cool with me.
No, he didn't get him free stuff because he asked for a super combo and there's no such thing
that's
as
right. It was a combo joke.
Yeah.
Meatballs and combos, a double whammy.
Everybody loves those biased Coke, get your popcorn 50 cents off jokes. Damn. That's the comedy gold. So then it was beer and comics panel, the first interesting thing we saw.
That was the first interesting thing, because there was like a panel last time you went that was food and comics.
When I was there 2 years ago, there's food and comics, and I went just to find out.
And they weren't prepared.
Well, for 2 reasons. To find out what the hell is the deal with food and comics. What do you talk about? Mm-hmm. The answer is they didn't know either. And second thing, Rick Bayless was on the panel, and if you don't know Rick Bayless, he won Master Chef, or was it Top Chef? He's like a seriously awesome chef. He's got 3 restaurants in the city, and they're amazing. If you're ever in the city... He
makes the best Mexican food ever.
Yeah.
He travels to Mexico, like,
all the
every
time.
other
He's
month.
got, like, 2 shows on PBS.
Okay.
Dudes, get a sandwich at Choco, just blow all your cash at Frontera Grill or Topolobambo if you're into more finer dining.
Get the cheesecake.
Holy shit. If you go to Frontera Grill, get the goddamn cheesecake, you motherfucker.
The best thing ever.
So we had fond memories of that panel, and so we went to this year. They had beer and comics because
we were hoping there was free beer or beer coupons, but there
wasn't.
None
but
of either.
They did have. There's a pretty big craft brewing scene in Chicago, as well as if you're in New York, you know all about that. Like Los Angeles, San Francisco's bound to have like a million breweries, right? Yeah. So we got an ass load here in Chicago. And they're all really good. So they had people from Revolution who actually brewed a specific beer for the show. They had 3 Floyds, and they had a Goose Island guy who they kept calling the Grey Goose guy, and he hung his head in shame. Rather different beverage. And they had Brian Azzarello from Image Comics. And the Marvel Talent Scout, who actually organized the food and comics panel. He's a talent scout for Marvel Comics and a food blogger and a beer enthusiast because he's a grown man. And
they almost all had nice beards.
They were incredibly bearded. And that
also bald.
I don't have many specific memories other than them just being really...
They were cool people.
They were cool blue-collar dudes, man.
Yeah.
Making my... I'm a tradesman. I make beer. I read comics, and I love to brew, man.
I wish I could have an occupation where I said I'm a tradesman, like I'm some medieval asshole.
Except he didn't come off as much of an asshole.
Yeah.
Maybe if he had some more of his product in him, he could have. But that was good. Like, if you're ever in a edible thing and comics panel, check it out. They're usually nice stuff. And then, actually, my favorite panel of the night was the last one. Dredd and Beyond, the whole wide world of 2000 AD.
Especially considering I knew nothing about 2000 AD or Dredd.
You're seeing that movie.
Yeah, and now
friend.
I'm going to see that movie, and I also have a Dredd book, and I also
if
have
anyone
a
at home
2000 AD.
hasn't seen the film Dredd starring Carl Urban,
It did not do well at the box
off your
office,
ass.
but it
It's
sounds
amazing.
great.
It is one of the best movies of last year.
Absolutely. And if you narrow it down to action movies, the best? I'd say it's the best. Best action movie, best comic movie, best licensed movie, maybe even.
Doesn't some guy get shot in the face and the bullet comes out of his cheek too?
Okay.
In slow motion.
Here's something I love. Here's something I love about Dredd. Dredd is entirely faceless. In fact, they
never
talked
takes his
about,
helmet off.
In the contract for the film, Dredd cannot take his helmet off.
Yeah.
He is just the living embodiment of the law of Mega City 1. He has no individuality whatsoever. The criminals all are very individual. They're very defined, unique characters. And a running theme through the film is most of the violence Dredd commits is against people's faces, erasing their individuality and reducing them from these unique people to just suspects who are now serving their punishment, which is invariably the death sentence, because they are very bad men and women. But like everyone gets their face fucked up.
Oh God.
And it's a really cool artistic decision, as well as, you know, that visceral, yeah, blow his goddamn face off, Dredd, you know? It's a great movie. I love it for so many reasons. So they talked about that. They talked about upcoming news. They talked about everything that isn't Dredd, because 2000 AD is an anthology book. It is just 8 pages of one thing, 5 pages of the next, 10 pages of thing number 3, all through the magazine, and it's great. It comes out weekly. And it's been going since 1975, man. Those English people are nuts.
Also incredibly enthusiastic about those books. Man, those guys were super charming.
Like I was saying today, I think a requirement of working for 2000 AD is like you have to have in your resume, started reading at age 12, never stopped.
Yeah.
Because we went to back to their booth Saturday when we did our big shopping run. And I just wanted to congratulate the guy and like, hey, nice job on the panel. I'd like to just sort of like, what's a good gateway book? He talked for 20 minutes. He sold us 4
talked our ears
books.
off. I bought 2 books.
I bought a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't not buy a book after that. Just imagine what that would be like. He does all of that 20 minutes and like, I don't think so. What? You can't do that.
About every book that we could have possibly bought on the table.
I mean, between the 3 of us, there's 2 households, basically. You bought Dredd's Collected Case Files Volume 3.
Yeah.
And Halo Jones.
Halo Jones. Because I really like the sound of that one.
Yeah, he described it, like, the PR guy as...
Strong female protagonist.
I was going to say he described it as Alan Moore's finest work.
Okay.
Which, I mean, for the folks at home, the first comic I ever bought was Watchmen.
Yeah.
I'm looking up, I'm seeing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm looking V for Vendetta at my shelf. I'm excited to read it. I'm really pumped. As well as, you know, the interesting thing about the character and the place she holds in, like, comic history. I'm time jumping. So that's also Friday, non-programming. That was the day we set out and saw as much of the floor as we could.
Yeah.
Because
we went, like, just about everywhere.
The plan was for, like, object sensory overload on Friday to prepare us for person sensory overload on Saturday, which is, like, when the population triples.
Oh, God.
Just by virtue of being Saturday. So much stuff. You want to talk?
There was lots of neat stuff you could buy, but I forgot what most of it was, like, and really all I can remember is that one... There was an entire side of the room where you could just get Wonder Woman tattooed on you. Like actual tattoos, not fake tattoos. There was a whole
cutout of
I kept hearing like
15 tattoo artists.
I kept hearing all this buzzing. What is that? It sounds like and there were actual tattoo artists there. It's like, man, this just seems a little weird.
I like how organized it was.
It was very organized.
Fan organizations had their own cubby. There's like the 501st and BronyCon.
Yeah, the BronyCon panel was right next to it.
Like all these other fan groups, like I don't know, Star Trek. Registered Fan Appreciation Society.
Cosplay.
Yeah, Chicago Cosplay. They all had their own nook, and all the comic sellers had their own region, and all the people who were just like doing a flea market of their rare and vintage. Can they hear my air quotes?
He's doing air quotes.
I'm doing them really hard.
You can buy the official DVD of Seinfeld bloopers. I mean, the cover was in like 72 DPI, so it looked like ass. But I mean, it definitely didn't come from some guy's inkjet printer.
I really
That was official art of Seinfeld.
I do appreciate all the gray market DVD sellers, because you got some weird shit in there.
You could have bought the entire Japanese series of Spider-Man. Yeah. It was even spelled that way, Spider-Man, with a hyphen.
If I had more free cash, I would have been tempted by that.
Yeah.
But then I probably would have bought the probably not official release of all 6 Star Trek
If you want to watch Japanese Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure Marvel's site actually has nearly every episode for free.
Yeah.
So.
Also, check out Anime Theater on chipandIronicus.com.
They're hosted on Daily Motion, so there's a shitload of shitty ads, so just please turn ad blocker on those, because I don't even make money on those anyways.
Yeah. Well, there was all of the porn.
There was lots of porn.
At a con, you expect a lot of, like, cheesecake, you expect a lot of pinups, you expect a lot of hentai, unfortunately. This was fucking porn. This is just straight up
The entire back right corner was just the porn place. And there was the guy...
I'm not excusing how prevalent all the other things are, but it's at least like, yes, I'm probably going to see this, but this is just porn.
The hentai was right out there. It just had it wasn't covered up with tarps or anything, or it was just like, hey, 18 plus, check out all this hentai.
Entertain the people for a minute. The sun's going down. I'm turning on a light.
Okay.
I like the one that had the cardboard like sticking out around it, like with the warning 18 plus.
Yeah.
Yes. Your ID.
Yeah.
To look at, do not touch.
It just seems like a really weird because there were people looking through it, and some of them defied what you expect somebody looking through hentai like legitimately, and they looked slightly more normal. It was weird, and I just kept imagining, like, you got this guy who's brought hentai in boxes, and he wants you to give him money so that you can buy the anime porn that you either collect or jack off to, or both, and then it's like you gotta touch it, and you gotta pull out the box. It's like, yeah, I like that anime. And then you gotta take the money out of your wallet that was in your pocket, and then you gotta hand it to the guy, and you gotta make eye contact with them, and it's like, that's the hentai peddler. And he's like, yeah, I'm selling you the hentai, and the guy's probably like, and that's just a business. That's a business thing they just did. And there's no shame involved.
What do you call that act?
I purchase hentai.
So yeah, the light's on. I'm back. Good job.
I also what else I really liked was that the hentai was right next to the swords.
There were like 10 people selling swords.
There were like 10 different sword peddlers.
You could get your medieval swords.
You could buy keyblades.
Fantasy swords. You could get your keyblades.
You could get a buster sword.
Half of them had katanas. Some of them were exclusively katana.
Some of them were pretty cheap too, like $30.
That's not true Hanzo steel. That's like Hanzei, the knockoff.
Yeah.
That's more Bandai steel.
There's another guy that we passed once on Friday and again on Sunday who was selling like cheesecake porn that was like more like the kind of like 50s horror movie style.
Like the freaking weird like Vincent Price.
Yeah. It was like all
cheesy
film
sort of
grain and kind of blown out a little.
But that's just around the women. The women were all incredibly scantily clad in airbrushed perfection.
And there was like this little like view scope you could put your eyeballs into.
Because it's in 3D!
And you could watch the 3D cheesecake porn.
Oh.
But the worst thing was just, we walked by the guy the first time, not really knowing what exactly he was selling.
Oh, I could tell.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you didn't like the extent of it, and also like the names of them, and I can't...
Is Dr. something skeezy, I can't remember...
And the jailbait surgeon.
No, he was the jailbait surgeon.
The jailbait surgeon. And we walked right by him, and he's like, oh yeah, you should check this one out, the jailbait surgeon. And the guy's like, yeah, I've been thinking about that one.
No, you haven't. Please say you haven't. Oh, so the floor is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But also, in the center they have, like, the big name, your comics publishers. DC didn't have a booth. I was really upset.
Surprising.
The Marvel booth was like Party City, man. That was hopping. They kept it busy. Right next door to the Archaia booth, which I'm going to talk about when we get to Sunday, because I love those people. Mm-hmm. I love Archaia books. And Dark Horse had a really cool thing. Just a lot of... I guess with DC gone, it freed up a lot of space for indie people to really put their best foot forward. Not necessarily indie, but like second string, I guess. I'm not an expert in the comic publishing industry. So I guess let's skip to Saturday. First thing we saw Saturday was Patton Oswalt's Q&A in the IGN theater.
Patton Oswalt rules. I love him.
He was great. Unfortunately, he wasn't doing like a set or anything.
But that was okay because he's just naturally funny when he talks.
His interviews are hilarious. I mean, they had this guy from IGN, because it was in the IGN theater, branded everywhere, coming out and doing like the initial interview, and he was trying to be funny. He was almost funny. I guess after trying to be funny in front of Patton Oswalt, he had a foot race with Usain Bolt. I don't know, but then just as they always do, the horrible questions.
Patton Oswalt, where do you get your jokes from? There were a fair amount of good questions, but there was, where do you get your jokes, Patton Oswalt?
There were 3 different people who were like, I want to break into I want to break into comedy. I want to break into acting. I want to break into Hollywood.
I want to break into being a key grip.
That one was a joke. It wasn't a good joke.
It wasn't a good joke.
Like, his answer for all 3 of these people was just fucking do it.
Just do it and keep doing it and don't quit.
That was in... He even answered that question in the initial interview period with the IGN guy. He was talking about how... Like, there's more movie-making technology in your iPhone than Lucas had in 1977. Just go do it. You want to write something? Write things. Film it. You want to act? Do it. You know? But people had to ask anyway because they don't listen.
Yeah.
They don't think asking a question to a celebrity will make that celebrity be like, oh, you know what? You got the voice for Hollywood. Come here.
Damn, come here. I'll get you all the connections.
And we all know I have the voice for Hollywood. So there's no point.
We were sitting near the back.
We were in the very back row. And I noticed, this giant man walked behind me.
Large beard.
Caught out of the corner of my eye, and I looked behind him like, that's fucking Brian Posehn.
Yeah, it was Brian Posehn. And while Patton Oswalt was answering questions, Brian Posehn was tweeting jokes about the Q&A, and then Patton Oswalt started reading them.
So I feel kind of bad for the people who would have asked questions if he hadn't been spending time reading Brian Posehn's jokes.
But it was very funny.
But I know that if their questions were anything like everyone else's, they would not have been nearly as good as just listening to him read Brian Posehn's jokes.
Yeah.
That was really... It's one of those things just about being live, man. You don't get that anywhere else. Brian Posehn was right behind us doing a double bit through Twitter.
Yeah.
That was a really cool experience. I like that a lot. After that, I ran out on you guys really quick because I wanted to see something that neither of you did. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute. It's not very funny, but if you are listening to this because you like my stuff, you're aware that I do a lot of tabletop gaming in the last couple of years. And if you're not aware of that, you are now, because I just told you. So they had a panel called The State of Play in Tabletop Role-Playing Gaming, and it had some really cool people. It had one of the Dungeon World designers was there. One of the guys that runs Drive-Thru RPG was there. Ken Hite, if you know that name, you know that name. He was there. And it was just a cool, laid-back sort of talk. 13th Age got mentioned, which is a game I play and post for the internet. It's in previews right now. You can pre-order it. I recommend it if you wish Dungeons and Dragons was the game it tried to be, you will love the 13th Age. But that was fun.
Didn't some nerds get upset that they said that 4E was good?
No, the opposite. You would expect that to happen. But as there's, if you're not aware of how terrible nerds are, they are. And Dungeons and Dragons has gone through a lot of revisions and entirely new rule sets over the 25 years. It's
something like that.
It depends on where you draw the line. It's an old game, but. The most recent one is the first one to have happened when the internet was in full swing in 2008. So the awfulness got multiplied. And 4th edition, the current edition that's about to not be, because they're designing the next one actually, is a really well-designed game that's not a lot like what people had been playing for the few years previous that they got invested in, so there's a lot of nerd rage. And so as designers, they recognize, like, yeah, this is a really cool game. I like to play it a lot. I wish the business end of Wizards of the Coast did better with it, but the designers did a great job. And you would expect that to get boos, but no, it got applause, and I'm happy, because that is an opinion I share. So that was fun for me. What did you guys do?
Oh, we went to buy books, didn't we?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And bought a lot of books.
We bought a lot of books, and...
We went to the
Archaia?
Yeah, we went there.
Because they had like a
first.
buy one, get one free.
Archaia, let's call the whole thing up. Yep, that's another reason I love them. They do great deals at
Yeah.
conventions.
They always
Yes.
have deals.
The people that were working there wanted to be helpful so hard, to the point that they were fucking annoying. There's one guy who asked you like 8 times if you needed any help because you weren't holding a book in your hand. Meanwhile, I was, so he never talked to me.
I just started hovering.
Are you sure it
around
didn't have
him.
anything to do with the boobs situation?
It might have.
Might
I
have.
started hovering around Chip though. I was like, I'm just gonna stay by you. Maybe he'll think that
Yeah.
the book you have in your hand is for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Not go away.
we all got some books for ourselves. Got a book as a present for one of our bridesmaids, actually.
Yes.
So, hey, let's talk about them now. We're time traveling. Archaia is what they do is just really cool, really lavish hardcover, creator-owned graphic novels.
Yeah. They do Gunner Craig Court.
They also print the Gunner Creek Court volumes. That's included. Mouse Guard is a big thing of theirs. They have a deal with Jim Henson. Actually, the things I got for myself were volumes 1 and 2 of like their Dark Crystal spin-off things. Mm-hmm. I like Dark Crystal better than Labyrinth, so screw you. Come at me, I don't care. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff with them. Like today, was it today?
Today was
we did the signing, or was that yesterday?
That was yesterday we did the signal.
Mentioning Mouse Guard, if you're not familiar with it, get familiar. It's really cool. And David Peterson draws and writes it, and he signed our books, and he's a really friendly guy. Mm-hmm. And today they had their big panel, and I love their panels because they're not about their books primarily. It's not a marketing thing. Mm-hmm. They're people who love comic art and art in general, and they do a lot of study into it, and they talk about it for an hour. And they talk about it for 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes, like, okay, here's how that relates to our upcoming releases, please buy them. And I love it. Today's was the history of 3D comics, which I didn't know was a thing.
I didn't know they existed at all.
And I learned some really cool stuff. Like, basically the history of 3D in comics is that a guy made a 3D Mighty Mouse comic to sell books on a gimmick, and then it became the hottest thing
for 5 months. And it put a lot of companies out of business.
Because it's hard to do well, and it's expensive as hell either way.
Yeah, how much did they say normal issues were back then when it first started? 10 cents.
And they were going for 25 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big increase.
And then after that 5-month boom, they lay fallow for 20 years until one guy went up to DC and is like, hey, I can make 3D comics.
But he didn't know
and
how.
And he lied his ass off.
But now he's
So he taught himself to do it, and over the years, even though there's very little demand, he did pretty much every 3D comic for a long time, and he became super great at it. And he died last year.
Oh no.
And now Archaia is putting out in October?
Yeah, October.
This really awesome looking...
I can't remember what it's called, but they have a trailer for it on their site.
They have a trailer for it on their website.
Joiners?
Yes.
The Joiners.
Joiners in 3D. It's Joy.
They
like
had,
the last name, not like people who join. It's Joyners.
The panel had lots of... This is Sunday today, but the panel had... Everybody got 3D glasses, and they showed off some of the work for that book, so you could actually see it in 3D, and it looked great.
You saw half of it.
Because I wore my 3D glasses inside out, like, for the first 3/4 of the panel, and then you finally pointed it out by tweeting it first before telling me. And then I realized...
People need to know I'm a journalist.
And then I flipped it around, and suddenly my headache was gone, and everything was far more 3D than it was before. Look, I looked at people, and they had the black part out, and I was like, yeah, I have that. I have it that way, too. But I never checked.
No, you don't.
It was the white part.
Oh, that was great.
Yep.
That was a great joke, and I'm glad I didn't tell you.
I do things like that pretty frequently, like just about every day. If I have to go out in public.
See, I'm excited for Joiners in 3D to come out.
Yeah.
That looks gorgeous. I don't care if the words are ass. It just looks so good.
It looks very, very nice.
So that's why I love Archaia so much. Back to Saturday.
Oh, wait, no. I just remembered when we were doing that signing Saturday.
Yeah, that was the first thing we did. Oh, no. Go
no,
ahead.
I mean the signing at the Archaia
Yeah, with David
booth.
Peterson.
I'm just suddenly remembering some of the people that were around, and I remember the people in front of us. It was this kid who was like 12, 13, 14, and he had his mom there, but she did not look like a mom who wanted a son. She looked like a mom who wanted to be at the club fucking somebody. Because she had an insane amount of collagen in her lips. And also fake boobs, you could tell.
Facelifts in the double digits.
It was crazy. She was duck-faced.
This lady was one purple suit away from Joker cosplay. No lie.
It was, I kept trying to not look, but it was so there.
Also, that's where we saw a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, the thing that really weirded me about that, you said like the kid's like 12, 13. I think he was a lot older than that.
Really?
He was like 18, 16.
He was a little 18. Chubby and round, so it made him look a little younger, I guess.
But his face just looked like that of like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But he obviously was not.
He was talking about going he was talking with David Peterson about going into like
college. He was talking about college.
Like what college for like illustration would
Yeah.
be best for what he wants to do. So he's an older teen.
Man, it just
They
seems
were
so
an
weird.
Interesting pair.
It's like, I'm just going to this comic
Also-
convention with my freakishly wants to be hot mom.
Unfortunately, we were there for a long time because David Peterson had a long as hell line at his Artist Alley booth. That, I mean, he's a nice person. He wants to sign all these books before coming over to do his scheduled signing at his publisher's booth, which is where we were. So we were just chilling out, and luckily their booth is right by a main aisle, like an intersection of main aisles. So it's where all the like semi-pro cosplayers hang out for photo ops. So we got to see a lot of that.
We saw a RoboCop running along that we thought was a RoboCop with a unfortunately shaped chest plate because it looked like RoboCop had boobs, but it was
actually a Robo Lady.
Yeah. You could not tell because like she walked right past me, and then you could see her face closer, and you could tell, that's a lady RoboCop.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to fit into a RoboCop costume.
Yeah.
Like all the male characters at Disneyland are ladies because they have the tiny bodies that fit in the suits. So yeah, let's talk about our purchases, because most of our purchasing was done at this point in time on Saturday that we're filling. Like we mentioned, you went to Dark Horse, you got the Zelda Hyrule Historia.
And the Bioshock Infinite art book.
Which we're using to prop up our mic right now.
Yep.
The
Zelda one's better.
Oh man.
The Zelda one's pretty nice.
I'm not sure I'd buy it for myself, especially after basically flipping through the entire book.
Yeah.
But it's a gorgeous book. You should go get it if you're at all interested in concept art or Zelda, especially the both of them together.
And if you're terrible, they also have an official canon Zelda timeline, which splits off into 3 separate timelines. Thank you, Ocarina of Time.
Can I talk about the Zelda timeline? Is that too far off?
No, go ahead.
Is that... Okay. The existence of the Zelda timeline is the worst thing. I don't care about where they put them in order.
It's
the fact
fine
that it exists.
It's fine that there's a timeline for the ones that are actually direct sequels.
Yeah, you don't need a timeline for that because they tell you.
Yeah.
But Zelda is great because it doesn't have a timeline. I ignore the existence of this page in the Hyrule Historia forever.
Well, it's like a quarter of the book.
Fuck you! Don't tell me that.
All those brown pages.
No! I'm gonna do my Brian Posehn voice early.
Okay.
But it's just this the story, this classic formulaic, honestly, thing that just goes on and on forever, and now it's got a timeline. So now when you make a game, people are going to feel pressure to be like, I wonder what happened between this one and that one, and that is going to suck creativity out of things. It happens anytime. I'm going to talk about Doctor Who now.
Yep.
I think one of the worst things that happened to Doctor Who was the fans getting older and starting to work for it and starting to make noise about it, because it turned away from this amazing science fantasy where anything can happen to a thing with a history, and you put thing A next to B, and you have to categorize it, and you have to linearize it, and things that came before have to be respected, so it closes off possibility. That's what I hate about the timeline. Yeah. It closes off possibility. Now, I should have thought about that before I screamed for 10 minutes.
Oh well.
Some things I bought. We talked about our 2000 AD stuff. Talked about me getting those Dark Crystal books. What were your Archaia purchases?
Oh, shit.
You got a Gunner Craig book?
I got Gunner Craig because I have not read any of it, and it sounds neat, so I might as well dive in with an actual physical book.
Yeah.
I got Mr. Murder is Dead. I know nothing about it, but I love the cover.
It's really cool on the inside. I haven't read this, but it's kind of...
There are parts of it that look different, that look more like Sunday
It's
morning.
basically Dick Tracy through a 2000s lens, basically, just flipping through it, not reading it, looking at the art. And that's interesting as all hell to me.
Let's see, there's Gunner Craig Court, and then...
you got a book called Tumor, which I got 2 years ago.
Yeah, I got
this. This is fantastic. I can vouch for it.
I got it just entirely because I love the edges of the pages, because they're just wavy, and I don't know why I like it so much, but I read a little bit of that, and it looks neat. And there's Old City Blues. I have a thing for Yellow and Black, apparently, because that's the books I kept picking. There's Dredd 3, there's Halo Jones.
Yeah, mentioned those.
Then I bought a lot of games.
Yeah, you bought a bunch of games today.
I bought Luigi's Mansion, I bought Shenmue, I got Last Story for the Wii.
That's a pretty great selection. Speaking of games, I picked up the Gamma World expansion, Legion of Gold.
That
for
was $5.
Screw you! I got it for $5.
It was on the shelf next to the other shelf that had the book simply titled 500 Manga Characters, which I think was like a CD full of like anime generic clip art.
At the same store, I also got for $5 Isaac Asimov, The Complete Stories, Volume 1. And that's like 600 pages.
That's a pretty good deal.
Asimov for $5. Hell yes.
I really wish that anime book was just a list of 500 different
Not
manga
even
characters
pictures,
that
just
exist.
their name. Just their name. For my fiance is rather crafty, and she got herself her first felting kit because that's a new
looks really
craft
cute
to conquer, and it's an adorable frog. She, like I mentioned, she's knitting currently. Rather crafty.
Yes.
What you got some other Archaia stuff?
Well, I got Halo Jones.
Halo Jones.
And then I got extra copy of Mouse Guard.
Right.
And I picked up the second Fraggle book, which is a compilation, or it has a bunch of different short stories by different artists.
It's really cool.
Of Fraggles. It's really great. First book is awesome. And then the Lost Pirate Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which
just has a really nice cover.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice cover.
Really nice interior flipping
really
through.
Pretty. When we went back 2 hours later, they were completely sold out of it.
Yeah.
So
I kind of wish I grabbed that.
It must be good.
If Archaia was the only comic book publisher left around, I wouldn't be that upset. No, quite frankly, they make such gorgeous stuff.
Was totally bummed that they were not selling the Jim Henson
Tale of Sand.
Tale of Sand. They had a signing for it, but they weren't selling it.
It's so
if
strange.
You're not familiar with Tale of Sand, Jim Henson unfortunately died in the 90s because he was too nice to tell people he was having chest pains. Which is one of the saddest things that happened. I think he's one of maybe the greatest creative genius of the 20th century.
Sure.
I mean, at least in film. And I know Scorsese exists. Fuck you, Jim Henson. I can defend this opinion if you require me to. But he left this screenplay that he was just polishing up and trying to shop around called Tale of Sand when he died. And after his children who own his estate and his company started this publishing deal with Archaia, they're like, hey, we have this Tale of Sand screenplay. Could this be a graphic novel? And they made it, and it won the Eisner Award for Best Graphic Novel, and I've wanted to buy it, and they were sold out. Yeah. So that's the story. When I asked about it, here's a second story. You know what the comic book guy would look like in real life?
Oh, yeah!
So yeah, this guy was standing next to me, and he gave his unsolicited opinion about how it's incredibly overrated, and it's just from
It's kind of nice to look at, but you just go set piece to set piece, and nothing really happens. And then he left immediately!
You know, if you have set pieces, that means something happens. You do not understand the definition of the word falling out of your fat mouth.
Oh my... I just love how he zipped. It's not like he ran away like, oh geez, I shouldn't have said that. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I'll just leave. This is
My
so
work
embarrassing.
is done here. I must go.
Yeah, it's like he
I
was
must
out
ruin
to...
other people's day.
I have to give more dissenting opinions that are the opposites of others. Goodbye. Got on his segue.
Like, the salesman was like, we've heard the opposite of that from everyone. It won the Eisner Award. It's a good book. I wish we had it to sell to you. We just don't, unfortunately. I'm like, yeah, I understand. That guy's an ass.
God, that guy.
What an ass.
I love that they are real.
Which that book was actually the panel that they did 2 years ago when we were there.
And like,
which they talked about some of it, other work by Jim Henson. But
they showed his experimental shorts. They showed his early commercial work, his later commercial work.
Yeah.
And
then they announced
his non-puppet stuff. That's just so. If you haven't seen Jim Henson's puppetless work, you're missing some of his best work. I mean, the guy was just brilliant in his experimental filmmaking. Puppets or no. So, I think that covers... Well, I did buy an autograph.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Peter art.
Oh, yes. My fiance is the only one of us to take advantage of the big thing of a comic convention, getting original artwork.
Yeah.
Yes.
Katie Cook. You want to talk about Katie Cook? It's your story.
Katie Cook is a really great artist that runs an online comic called Gronk. It's about a little monster that is kicked out of his monster clan in the woods because he's not scary enough.
He's an adorable little fella.
He's exploring, basically the human world and everything.
By being this woman's third pet slash adopted child.
Yeah, somewhere in there, it's like a child and a pet. So Katie Cook does that. She also
if you're looking for it, you can just Google search Gronk, Gronk. Her website is katiecandraw.com.
Yes. And she also has recently started doing a lot of work with some My Little Pony stuff.
Yep,
the My Little Pony comic.
A crazy line.
Insane line, almost all of them there for My Little Pony, which
Yes.
I wish more of them were there to appreciate her original creations instead of fucking My Little Pony.
She seemed very excited when I mentioned Gronk. I don't think anyone had for a while.
Which is a shame.
She does just custom, like, business card size watercolors.
Yeah. Like a note card.
Yeah. But note card size custom watercolors, $5. And they're amazingly adorable. Yeah. So you got a...
I got a picture of her character Gronk with a little cat that resembles a cat back in my family home. It's really adorable.
And the cat sitting on the little monster's head.
Yeah, here's a little happy
So we were pretty much in Brony Central for like half an hour because this line was so long.
Oh, when we were in that line, we also found all the Homestucks.
All of the... They were like posing on... If you've never been to McCormick Place, which you probably haven't, that's the venue in Chicago where C2E2 takes place. There's a central... it's just this big, huge, wide show floor as you've seen at every comic convention ever. But in the middle, there's a small second floor. It's just a raised food court, and there's stairs going up. So they had this posed on the stairway like 15 Homestucks in a row leaning over the balcony for pictures.
And before that, we had only spotted 2 or 3 at the most. And I was like, wow, there's no Homestucks.
So there's just this density of Homestucks while we're in the middle of the ponies.
All on this balcony, and I gotta say, they look like they were having a lot of fun. I mean...
Congratulations.
Even if
they found their people.
Maybe they are obnoxious as hell, but they were having fun.
Yeah,
whatever.
But that was fun.
Are you ready to talk about your autograph?
Yes! Okay, let's talk about everything Peter Davison, because we've already talked about David Peterson.
Man, I was getting really confused. Which is this? Which man? Who?
Son Dave Peters. What? So yeah, Peter Davison. If you don't know a lot about Doctor Who, then I'm going to bore you to death. He played the 5th Doctor, and of everyone to have played the Doctor, both like in continuity or like in all the spin-offs or non-canonical stuff even, he's my favorite of all the ones that are not dead. And I shook his hand. And he signed a thing.
And I got a picture.
And I took a picture. And this isn't acting, I swear, I'm pathetic.
You are almost as bad as that girl at the Doctor Who panel.
I know.
With him.
I was just trying to keep it together.
That,
you touched Peter Davison, keep it together.
That
Be
girl
cool.
with the
Be
tiny
cool.
stick arms who could not stop bouncing up and down. She was so excited.
Yeah. Just waited. We actually in that line we had a pretty good look at some costumes because there's nothing else to do when you're waiting in line.
There was a BioShock Infinite one that was just the chalkboard that you have no idea what it means unless you've played the first hour or two.
Yeah, it's except they were in the wrong costume because it was the twins in their rain outfit from the boat, but the boy twin was wearing the chalkboard with the heads or tails. It was a costume mashup, and I don't even play these games. What the fuck?
You don't play any new games. You're like
I don't play any shooter games. I don't really play PC games, and I don't play new games. That
you
is three strikes against BioShock
You are also
Infinite.
like 2 generations behind, kind of. Hurry up! Buy a PS3
You
when
just
the
bought
PS4.
Shenmue. You got no room to talk.
Shut up! I play old games and new games. I have a Dreamcast that I bought recently.
So yeah, since we talked about the autographing line, let's just skip forward to the Peter Davison panel. He did a Q&A.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have anything coming out to promote. That's not true. He's still in Law & Order UK. Mm-hmm. Which, if you watch, that means you live in the UK, I guess.
Is it on BBC America? Or?
No.
It was. I don't think it is anymore.
No.
I think they cut it just to show Doctor Who 10 more times a day.
I feel like it was on for maybe like a week. Like, I don't even know if it made it to a second episode.
Oh. Well...
But he's a really cool guy. Having left Doctor Who in 1983, and it being 30 years after that, I'm sure he's heard every question that he's ever going to hear.
Yeah.
At least 10 times.
He's good at making it sound like he's never heard it before.
And
he's very
really
friendly.
good at talking to kids.
Yes.
Like, we were talking about this leaving, and part of the reason, I think, is because he is a grandpa.
Yep.
You learn to be good at talking to kids.
He's a nice grandpa.
Once you are a grandpa.
I would eat some Werther's if he gave me some.
Yeah. I'd eat anything if you gave it to me. Oh my god. Oh. That was a lot of fun, actually. Just another low-key thing without a lot of stuff to say.
Yeah.
Some people were those fans, like the lady with like the Dalek foam hat.
Yeah.
But you know, don't let people who enjoy a thing in the wrong way ruin your fun. Mm-hmm. Don't be that guy. I don't.
You can usually fix that just by not looking at the internet as much.
Pretty much.
Just keep yourself in a vacuum for all the things you like, and they will never be ruined unless the creators actually ruin it for real.
Sage advice. So, I guess the only thing I'm looking at the schedule I made up of things we did. The only thing we skipped over on Saturday, Comedy Mutant featuring Brian Posehn, Mike Kaplan, and Mike Drucker.
Yeah, that was good.
Brian and the Mikes coming on iTunes, I guess.
Yeah. I had heard some of
Oh, wait, I went right to the Cumwell already. I'm stealing Brian Posehn's jokes.
Right in front of us and to the left, there was a mom with, like, her little kids.
Yeah, she had like...
At Brian fucking Posehn. And he started off with a Cumwell joke.
It was...
Literally a well of male ejaculate if you're not getting what we're saying.
It was so great. She had like a 13-year-old.
Dip the bucket in.
And then like...
She was telling them to plug their ears.
And she's like, plug your ears!
No,
and
that was as soon as the F-bomb started dropping.
Yeah.
Then when the Cumwell came...
So that's it, we're out of here!
But she left her 13-year-old son behind.
Yes, I'm
Right,
not
yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I think that we're probably going to have a talk later.
Yeah.
About what not to say at school on Monday. Doubt he'll listen.
My goodness.
Weren't there some other strange people we saw Saturday?
Bring up your Twitter.
Oh no! The
Get
day
your phone
before,
out.
when we were at the Cyanide and Happiness, there was like that ultimate brony there.
Yes!
The dude had like a ponytail going down almost to his ass.
Actually, the happiest thing I saw on the pony front was this guy who's carrying like a pony
We looked
bag
at him and we were like a
and pony
giant
comics.
MLP bag, and we were like, oh no!
And then
he gave it to his
sat
daughter.
down with his daughter like, oh. And then it was stolen by another greasy man. And we're like, oh!
And then another one later. But man, he was greasy, and he was getting hot at the panel, and he was fanning himself with the My Little Pony calendar, and I love that.
His like all the way down his back ponytail was so tangled that it was basically like as tangled.
It was a
as
dread.
being a dread.
Yeah.
Like
one solid dread.
One dread.
You get a bunch of them, then you can link the hair up, then you have dreadlocks.
Saturday was a really good day for costumes. I like joke costumes, and I still believe the best joke costume we saw was Gwen Stacy in a neck brace.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, that was great.
I did really enjoy the house from Up, though.
The house from Up.
There's some, yeah, man.
That was great.
I saw some more. We never saw that one up close, but actually, the show's Twitter has like Instagram shots of that one.
Nice.
The C2E2 Twitter, which we'll get into when we skip to Sunday.
Yeah.
But, the Comedy Mutant show was great. If you've never seen Brian Posehn or Mike Kaplan or Mike Drucker, I would recommend all of them after seeing them.
They were all funny.
They're all really funny.
Don't go if you could potentially get very upset at a justifiable Holocaust of the Jews joke.
It was really funny, though.
It was great because the amount
Everyone
of thought
just
that was
turned
put
off
into
this
it.
podcast. But no, here, joke spoilers. It started as a time travel bit, and how if we know time travel isn't real, or at least ineffective, because every Jew in the world, after time travel is invented, is going to kill Hitler. And a lot of people who aren't Jews, to be fair, but every Jew in the world
We want to kill Hitler.
would want to kill Hitler. And then it circles around at the end to being like, well, if you think about it, if time travel's real, all Hitler knows
Is all these Jews are
all
coming
these
to
Jews
kill
are
him
trying to kill
for some
him
reason.
constantly. He's always on the run from deadly Jews. He was really doing the only thing he knew how.
Yeah.
And
like
that's horrible, but it was
that's very
hilarious.
I laughed because there was a lot of thought put into that joke.
Oh man.
I usually do not laugh at Holocaust jokes because they feel like cheap and easy and just trying to be edgy, but man, when it's a closed time loop
That
joke.
one was the third one, Mike Drucker, right? I think he
Yes.
started slow, but after that, like, he blew the doors off.
Yeah.
And if you read my Twitter, you know I love tortured and dumb wordplay, and he kicks my ass at it.
Yeah. He was good. I think I liked the second guy the most.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Mike Kaplan.
Kaplan.
He's a writer on Jimmy Fallon. Poor
Yep.
fella. No,
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, oh no. But he was funny.
He must be the guy who comes up with the ridiculous skits that happen on the Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon show, because those are good. Those are really good. And he was just, I can't remember any of his specific bits.
Yeah, I can't
Except
either.
about being a lonely fat kid. There was a lot of lonely fat kid jokes.
Yeah.
And then Brian Posehn came out.
Oh, I remember there was one joke. It was at school. Like, if you could be an animal, what would you be?
Oh,
And
yeah.
He said, I'd be a jellyfish because if you don't have a nervous system, you can't be sad.
That was great.
That was good. And also sad.
So yeah, see, we don't hate stand-up, just bad ones. Ta-da!
The only problem with Brian Posehn is that I had heard half his jokes before on Netflix.
Yeah.
But like half of it was either new stuff entirely or I just hadn't seen that certain routine.
Saturday we focused on seeing good stuff. So we missed the modern swordplay demo, the Taste of Medieval Swordplay.
Oh, I wanted to see it so bad, but the good things were happening at the same time.
I have no sewing machine, but I must cosplay.
I wanted to see fat men swing swords and get tired.
There were
Happy we missed that.
5? There were 6. No, there were 5. In 3 days, there were 5 how to play Quidditch presentations.
Yeah, one for children. The other 4 just read, the first day we were walking by somebody who's like, please, we need more people for Quidditch! The Quidditch tournament is going to happen! We need people to learn how to play Quidditch!
And then the second day, we were walking on the show floor, and this woman dressed all in yellow was like, hey, if you see anyone playing Quidditch, don't tell them where I am. I'm the snitch. And then I'm like, you're on the goddamn show floor. That is cheating.
Yeah.
They're never going to find you.
At least the snitch wasn't a fat guy this time.
On a completely different side of the building playing this right now.
They were at least on the same floor of the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, but a completely different side of it.
Man.
They were across
McCormick
the entire show floor and a hallway.
McCormick Place is a large place. This is like
big.
a quarter goddamn mile. That is cheating. that game of Quidditch is never
Unless she
going
has
to
a GPS thing on her, like, no.
Oh. So I guess aside from maybe some small reminiscences, that's the meat of Saturday. Let's get to today.
I saw a Black Rock Shooter cosplayer.
So yeah, there's that.
I also saw a Black Rock Shooter shirt, and I almost bought it ironically. I almost bought a Keyblade ironically. I almost bought a Cat Planet Cuties t-shirt and DVD ironically.
I didn't
Kill
see
me.
the T-shirt. I saw the DVD. That was at the same table as the Black Rock Shooter shirt.
Yeah.
I
I almost
remember
ironically bought that
too.
as well, but I was able to keep myself from buying that, and instead I bought Shenmue.
So this morning, we started today with the Cursed Black Pearl crew from from the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. The first 3 films they were all in. And
they were nice.
One of them was in the 4th.
Yeah.
They were nice. They were cool guys. They seem to have a much more realistic idea of their success in the industry than all of the diehard Pirates of the Caribbean fans in the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
They knew.
You're a huge Pirates fan. I like them.
I'm alright with them.
I appreciate them. They're fun.
I like the first one.
You almost had a heart attack when they mentioned the first one was 10 years old, though.
I did, because
God,
I
yeah.
remember seeing it like it was yesterday.
Yep.
How many times did you see that, you and Louise, in theaters?
Well, I went opening night.
Come on.
To a midnight showing in costume. And then
Now,
I saw it again.
what you don't know about this lovely woman I'm marrying is that Pirates of the Caribbean is a perfect storm for her, especially when she was in high school. Because there used to be a time when our DVD shelf wasn't in alphabetical order. It was Johnny Depp and not Johnny Depp.
Oh, no.
And she's also a rather large fan of piracy in fiction
And I like swords.
in general.
Okay.
And she likes swords so much she's certified by the International Society of Fight Directors for teaching people how to fight with swords on
Not
stage.
international,
Your fiancé could
the
probably kill me.
American
Oh, excuse me,
Society
the
Fight Directors.
Americans.
But also
So
the
you
British
can't-
Society
Okay.
as well.
So you,
yeah.
you just can't do it in Canada, I guess. Does the British
Not
Society count?
certified.
Like, they're in the Commonwealth still. I'm sure your British certification counts in Canada.
I don't know. I don't
Maybe.
know exactly how that works.
Somebody look that up for us. Thanks in
I
advance.
spent like 3 years doing it, so it's a big fun thing.
But they were cool guys. They were funny guys. Just a whole lot of reminiscences about funny times with the dwarf.
Yes.
Dwarf puking up on the green screen.
Yep.
Dwarf getting left behind on the island.
Dwarf wanted to be spanked.
Islanders chasing the dwarf screaming mini-me, though he's not Vern Troyer. He's a different dwarf.
Yeah.
You may not realize. I don't want to sound dwarfist, but they do look kind of alike. Especially,
Oh, no.
especially when he has his head shaved for that
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Come on.
I enjoyed how reminiscent they were.
Yeah.
And just how they were looking back on.
Yeah.
These were fun times. I didn't enjoy how diehard everyone was that was asking questions. I
Everybody
like,
was just
really?
like pumping, like, the fifth
Pirates
film's going
of
to be
the
a failure
Caribbean.
if they don't have you, who never actually
Gonna be a
had
fifth
a
Pirates,
line.
man.
I like pirates. I've seen all of them. I would not mind another one because I find them fun.
I thought-
but it's not like life or death.
I thought the newest one, the fourth one, was the second best of
The
them.
fourth one was the second best.
I always heard that the fourth one was bad.
It depends on what you want out of it.
Okay.
It's not a very
Well,
coherent...
actually, no. The fourth. That's the fourth one.
Yeah.
The one that just basically focuses on Jack Sparrow.
It's
Yeah.
It's not a very coherent film.
No.
Yep.
But if you just want awesome, ridiculous, swashbuckling set pieces, like
Okay.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones on the high seas.
So you're saying it just moves from set piece to set piece, basically? It's not
Yeah,
that interesting?
it's kind of overhyped, but I don't think it should have won that Eisner.
I don't think Johnny Depp's that attractive.
Well, the first one,
But
why it was so like,
in an
great.
adventure movie, that's good, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying, and that's
okay.
why I appreciate it on that level.
The adventure is fun.
And it doesn't have Keira Knightley, and it doesn't have Orlando Bloom.
Good.
And they were
You-
insufferable in the
Good.
second and third.
Yes, they were.
The movies is because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we need this relationship and we need to have all this stuff around it. Well,
Yeah.
No, you don't. That killed it. It's no longer fun pirate. What you want when
It
you're a
got kind of
kid.
serious.
Yeah, you don't want that. And
Yeah.
so it threw all that out, and it was just back
And they
to
didn't even
fun.
do that part well. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
No, they
But
didn't. The way
instead-
they ended the last one was stupid.
Instead, they had this great. They replaced them with a great action piece where Johnny Depp throws a gooey crumpet and it gets hooked on a chandelier, and then he does an incredibly improbable escape. And as he's on his way out, the crumpet falls off the chandelier into his hand.
Yeah.
Hell yes, I love it.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's what you want to see.
So if that's the sort of thing you want in your adventure movie, just adventure movie and not so much movie, go check out The Fourth Pirates if you skipped it. I like it well enough. Although
was-
it didn't have these guys we saw talk.
Yeah.
So it's-
No, which is a shame. So I do hope that if another one is made, they bring some of them back, because I think it would be fun. But
Yeah.
I'm
Also-
not going to have a heart attack like the people who are asking questions if they don't.
Yeah.
If you are aware of the Pirates films, the ones that did have the Black Pearl crew, you know that there's one guy named Cotton, and he never talks, but his parrot does. Like, that's the joke of the character. He's a one-note background part, and his actor was there. I did not realize that this man who never speaks is a classically trained actor who spent 10 years with the Royal Shakespeare Company.
He has a lovely voice.
Yes, the most amazing Shakespearean voice in existence.
The dude's more like high class in his accent than goddamn Downton Abbey. And he played a dude who doesn't fucking talk.
I wish I could talk like him. I would have totally picked up Catwoman on Saturday if I could.
Oh, yeah, you made friends with a cosplayer.
I made friends with a cosplayer.
The two of us were in the restroom.
Both of you went to the
Not
bathroom,
together.
and I sat down next to a group of very tired, possibly professional female Batman cosplayers. One of them was Catwoman. I sat down next to her, and she started a conversation with me. It's like, oh, I wanted to say that she messed it up, but I messed it up really bad, and I feel terrible. I just don't. It's just weird to have like a professional cosplayer and like a really skin tight like cat suit who's also taller than me start talking to me. It's like, yeah, check out these, and she's like pointing out yeah, all right. Where are they? Where are my friends? Are in the bathroom.
The word that didn't come out that should have in that sentence was high heels. She was talking about her difficulty in walking around in high heels. This is the way you told the story later.
Yeah.
Which is something neither of us have much experience in.
I'm gonna check out Catwoman on Craigslist.
So actually, let's segue into something I was going to talk about. The ladies of comic conventions.
Oh Lord. I saw a lot more unclothed butts than I thought. Like, I expected, like, you know, skimpy outfits, but it went a lot further than I thought it would.
Yeah. Here's my dilemma. I think it's clear that I really respect and value women, and I support women, and I'm a pretty staunch feminist. That's clear, right? We're all on the same page in this room?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how to do that in this context. Like, it is their choice to wear these things. I should support them. They are wearing art. I should enjoy it. Am I ogling you yet? You spent so much time on that stitching. I should take a look at it from all angles.
That was an impressive chainmail bikini.
Am I creeping you out? I don't know.
That was an impressive chainmail bikini that you made. Also, I can see your underboob. I'm sorry. That was almost the whole boob that was there.
You must want me to look because you put in so much work. It's creepy. I don't know what to do. Help me out.
What am I supposed to do? Help!
Please, why don't you? Oh, you're dressed as a character that wears proper clothing. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right.
Yes, you look.
Oh, good. It's Laura Croft, but it's from the reboot where she wears normal clothes. Yeah.
You made a very nice outfit. From a craftsmanship perspective, and it's clear that's what I mean. Yes, thank you. Oh, you are so skimpy and nice looking. We're getting married on June 22nd. Please
Meanwhile,
don't
I'm
think
single,
I'm
so I felt slightly less guilty. Like that Marvel contest where everyone was dancing. There was that lady on left. I don't know what she was, but she was very pink.
Pink girl.
The pink girl.
She was either an anime or an exhibitionist
I think
or
she
a
might
pony?
I think she might have been an anime.
I don't know.
I don't know what the outfit was.
It was not large enough.
No.
In the bust area.
No. Especially for dancing.
Oh my god, I've seen less ripples in like a pool after a cannonball, I swear. The Jell-O factory don't jiggle that much, folks. I could be here all night.
I'm surprised she didn't win. I'm actually surprised she lasted one round, and then she was gone.
She wasn't dancing very
She wasn't
much.
dancing very much, but I thought she was going to win.
Consider the judges. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. I mean, the first time they're
This
like, hey,
was-
what about her? And everyone's like,
Her
woo!
was totally getting her boogie on.
She was kicking ass. She won.
Yeah, she
Butt
did.
was shaking in every direction, and she was actually doing dance moves.
I couldn't see a butt. I'm like 6'6", and I couldn't see
I
through the
could see
crowd.
I couldn't see anything. I am 5'5". Oh, no.
That's a slight exaggeration on my part, not his, for the folks at home keeping score.
Yep.
Let's see. What else? We're on Sunday. Go ahead.
Okay, since we talked about women cosplaying, can we please talk about men and the fact that if you're gonna wear spandex, you should
God.
some stuff out
Jesus!
there?
Jesus! There was a Mario and Luigi that were terrifying, and I could see their balls.
I don't want to see every outline of your junk. Where
Fellas, she's taken. Don't be showing that off.
I don't know. I kind of figure if you want to show off, and a lot of people
If you
hope to like meet people.
If
while
you tempt my
cosplaying,
woman away from me, I will shank your ass.
I would think that
There is
she
one
wants you
guy-
to look well. It doesn't look well in spandex.
The first thing I saw was a Nightwing who was clearly stuffing his junk with like
Yeah.
3 pairs of socks. Man, that guy meant business.
It actually looked a little cancerous because the socks weren't staying in one perfect spheres, so it was a little lumpy.
That's why you wear a dance belt or something.
Something.
Keep it in place.
Or just,
Smooth it out.
how about a material that ain't pajamas?
That works as well.
Oh. You know what's big? Walking Dead. Do a character that wears jeans. There you go.
Oh yeah, and that first day there were those people that were zombies that were role playing really hard and they started touching you.
Oh!
Fuck
I was
you.
going to punch some bitches.
Like, this is crowded enough. I don't need you intentionally touching me.
Dude, if you are people out there who cosplay, do not touch people.
Like,
That's the way to get yourself punched.
There's a saying, like, cosplay doesn't equal consent, and that's usually for people, like, pinching the bums of these people in anime outfits. It works both ways.
Yes, just because you are a zombie does not mean you can touch my neck. Just don't do it.
It looked like you almost punched one of them.
I was ready to. I have a personal bubble. I mean, it was pretty small considering how busy it was and you're going to bump into people. But as soon as you actually touch me, reach out and touch me.
Gloves are off.
Gloves are off,
I just remembered something else from the first day.
Yes.
Green Ranger was there, and the whole world was pumped.
Yes! No, that was Saturday.
No,
that was in
that Saturday?
He got everyone pumped all the time.
Okay.
But, like, we saw most of it when we were in the other autographing line with Peter Davison.
Yeah.
Jason David Frank, the green/white/red/red/black Ranger.
Isn't he also the Gold Ranger?
Was he? No, he wasn't.
No, that
the
was
original
the
Red Ranger came back to be the sixth.
That's what he was.
I was 8 years old once. Don't judge me.
I was around that. Yeah.
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 I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers.
Too violent.
My mom just thought it was trash television.
It
but
is.
hey, you know what? I watched it whenever I went to a friend's house.
After the first season, when they first like changed outfits and Zords, I'm like, I'm an erudite second grader. I'm above this. You know?
I was in first grade, so I was still way into it.
Yeah.
Once I got the Turbo done,
Oh man.
I'm sorry, Turbo.
Yeah, they say that's the worst one.
I never got
Why
around
do
to
I
seeing
know that?
Zordon die. I'm sorry if you're watching Power Rangers somehow and don't know that Zordon dies yet. They kill him to make everyone nice.
Snape killed him. What the fuck? That guy. We're all out of order. Let's talk about the biggest thing from today, which is the tweet board.
Yeah!
Okay, there's a thing that this happens in a lot of places. It happens in a burger place I go to, actually. They just automatically put up, if you tweet a hashtag, they put it up on the big screen, right? And the hashtag was C2E2, and we stumbled on it the third day. And I tweeted, I'm watching myself make inappropriate tweets at C2E2. And it went up on the board, and we had a laugh. And then a bunch of people started following suit.
And I took a picture to let everybody know that we were seeing these.
And then it just exploded. Who was the person who wrote Hail Satan 100 times?
That was great. Also, we should mention that Sunday was Kids Day. And there was somebody talking about how they wanted somebody to touch their balls.
Yes.
We had Hail Satan.
And there was a little 4-year-old Batman right there. Yeah.
We had advertising for our website on there. It got filtered out the first time, but if you just write it out instead of...
If you don't make it a URL, it doesn't get filtered.
Yeah.
You can say faggot. You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Actually,
I said it earlier, I'm sorry.
There were 3 people who were looking for us.
Yeah.
There were 2 people who found us. And that's the end of that. No.
Oh, no!
Let's talk about these 2 people. They were both pretty nice.
Yeah.
Just accident of luck. One was sitting next to us with his girlfriend at the Peter Davison Q&A.
Mm-hmm. His name was Mike?
His name was Mike.
Okay.
I gave him a shout out on the tweet space. He was a cool guy. Would have hung out with him a little more, I guess, but we were both going different places. Mm-hmm. And there was another guy, I can't recall his name. His Twitter handle has a bunch of letters and numbers in it.
Yeah. I can't remember if he said his actual name or not. It was hard to... If he did,
but we're giant jackasses.
Oh, no. Also, there were lots of people, and there was, like, people waiting for free Marvel stuff, and it was also hard to hear because it was loud.
Yeah, and he was a pretty cool guy, too. He seemed
nice.
to be alone. I hope he had fun at the con, guy. Oh, no, he said he didn't have as much fun as he could have.
Because the Magic tournament.
Because the Magic pre-release tournament, they were doing something for an upcoming set, and the management bungled it. Those Watsy assholes killing everything.
I wonder how exact, because I don't know much about Magic at all. I played it like once or twice.
Like, I guess he said they promised them like a certain amount of time to draft a deck, and then they actually gave them half that amount of time.
Okay.
And then they screwed up. They lost the matchup list, so they had to rematch up everyone.
Dear. Okay, yeah, that I can see how you can bungle up a Magic tournament. I was imagining that there was somebody who's just, fuck this, and just flip it all over the tables while everybody's playing games.
Wizards of the Cost, more like, oh.
Boycott!
Hasbro bought you, you're for babies. So yeah, I just said that thing I thought I'd never say. I'm cool with Wizards of the Coast, man. They screw some stuff up, but they also make great products, so there you go. What else do we want to talk about, man? We've covered a lot.
I know there's some other things that were from previous days.
Get your Twitter out, man.
I'll get my
we
Twitter
tweeted
out.
all the important stuff. This is the part where we'll put in an intermission, and then we'll come back with the quiz.
Music transition.
That's an Alka Hollywood joke for those of you who listen to both of these podcasts. You should. They're both good.
Apparently my tweet rate has been limited because I have tweeted too much.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah! The first day, while we were waiting for the comedy thing to happen, some guy just walks away with a megaphone going, Harlem Shake video! Yes. Harlem Shake video, please! In progress! Over here! Like...
We didn't... That's too much secondhand embarrassment. Like, we watched that stand-up the whole way through, and we still did not go to see the Harlem Shake video.
There was a guy I just remembered in... The comedy routine.
I mean, there's enough Doctor Who's to maybe send that Harlem Shake video
so
back
many,
in time.
There were so many
to
doctors.
Make that worthwhile.
There were so many doctors. There was a sexy Tony Stark who was pretty good because he looked good.
Yeah, I love hearing about him today. Like, there's a speed dating event. There's like a session every day of speed dating. It's the same if you've seen the speed dating thing that got profiled on TLC, Geek Love.
The same
or Nerd
guy
Love.
that runs this one.
It's the same organization.
Yeah. Oh, we signed up. We got roped into signing up for King of the Nerds.
Yes, that's the big thing we missed. So
yeah.
They haven't called us back. I mean, I guess they're still recruiting.
They tried to recruit us the second time.
They tried to recruit us
the
twice.
day after, and we're like, man, and they tried to make it sound like, hey, so have you heard of this popular TV show we're signing up for? And she wanted to make sure that it wasn't King of the Nerds
She said she saw us and wanted to talk to us. Then she said she's scouting. Then she said it's for TV.
Really wanted to rope us in first.
She really wanted to ease us in without saying King of the Nerds. She made us guess the name of the show before she said King of the Nerds.
She's like,
she seemed kind of disappointed that we knew about it. She's like,
yes,
you know what
anyone who knows it doesn't sign up. Yeah. But we did, and we did. So screw you, lady. No, they make you take a mugshot. They make you fill out a sheet.
I had to write down 3 interesting things that people might not know about me instantly. I couldn't think of a third, and so you had me write down that I'm Hideo Kojima's #1 stalker. I suppose that's true.
I wrote down that I dig musicals.
Yep.
I sing songs from musicals. I wrote down avowed socialist, so I don't think they're going to call me back.
You know, if they really need some kind of gimmick.
If they can read my handwriting, I'm not getting a call. You might.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't read your handwriting.
So hey, man, double blind. I got. You know what annoyed me? They ask your your education level, and so I wrote it down. I wrote down my degree, my major, and my school, and I handed the sheet to the guy. And then he asked, "Hey, did you go to school?" I'm like, "Point. Yeah, I went here." "Oh, what'd you go in?" That thing that I wrote down right next to you, asshole.
Things you asked me to write.
How do you get into I wrote it on the proper line. So yeah, maybe there'll be news from that. It's doubtful, but maybe.
Doubtful.
I mean...
The thing I'm worried about is I would love to be in King of the Nerds just to be myself, but the thing is, with the power of editing, they could make me just look terrible. Remember the
softy, you big sweetheart.
remember the tester when Egoraptor was on? They made him look like a crybaby, kind of, when he clearly wasn't, and they were just being garbage.
Yeah. Well, just make sure that you pretend really hard to buy into the bullshit of King of the Nerds, and maybe they'll allow you to look good.
Every time they see me, every time I come back on, I'll just make sure the first thing I always say when I enter a room is Bazinga.
TBS is great.
Bazinga! When we were at the Pirates panel, there was another guy who asked how to break into the business.
Yeah, that guy!
God.
Oh my god!
He was like Droopy Dog incarnate.
He was
How do you break into the business? Boo-hoo!
he was the most awkward person.
Why are you asking?
He
man
had
who
no
don't
personality.
He was terrified.
He was.
How do you
How do you break in?
I like acting and stuff.
I've been
He didn't say he was acting until like halfway through, like after they had started asking the question. I was like, I hope you're a writer. I hope you're a writer.
Be a writer.
I hope
Be someone who likes to carry stuff.
Damn it, he's pretending to be on-screen talent. God damn it.
Oh, he had. Unless his personality just was sapped away and it exited his body because he was so nervous.
I felt so bad for them having to answer that because they were trying to be so nice.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's just like, oh, get a new dream. This is not gonna happen, dude.
one thing we didn't do that I wanted to do, but the line was always, and it was kind of low priority, was there's a show on Sci-Fi. It's called Face Off. It's a elimination type reality show. It's about makeup special effects. If you don't watch it,
It's a neat show.
It's a really good show. And the winner of the most recent season is a guy called Anthony. He's from the Chicago area.
Woo!
And he's the sweetest guy and head and shoulders the most talented that season. And he was there. He was doing signings. He's a really cool guy. And I waved at him and I wanted to like congratulate him on winning and maybe get a print of his sketches because he's a trained illustrator as well as a makeup artist. But that didn't happen.
That line was always like,
line was always pretty.
20 people on.
Yeah.
Every time we went by.
So, but he makes incredible work.
He's
so
great.
good.
Really good.
He's absolutely great.
So that would have been nice, but it was cool just to see him,
Yeah.
even if not like man to man. Oh, I got some other things signed.
Yep.
Paul Cornell. If you like Doctor Who, you might have heard of him. If you like comics, he's done a lot in the last couple of years. He also just wrote a novel, and so I bought it and had him sign it, and he looked really happy that someone in America bought his novel. As well as he also happened to be the person who was writing Action Comics when it hit issue 900, which is the first American comic to do that. So he signed a copy of that for me, and looked a little less happy for that. Like if I had a copy of Saucer Country, his West Wing meets X-Files series that was unfortunately just canceled.
That sounds like that would have been great.
It is great. I've read the first half. It's so good, but I got it digitally, so there's nothing to.
Oh
yeah. But actually, and in order to get a seat in time for Peter Davison, we sat in on half of the Image Comics panel.
Yeah.
Which is the imprint that does Saucer Country, and there was a question about it because it got canceled and it had a strong female lead. It had several actually. As well as a few other things that got canceled that had strong female leads, and a couple of books that were written by female writers who aren't there anymore. So is that question you always expect about where the ladies at, yo? And their answer was the same thing you always expect.
Oh, it's coming.
We're not ready to make an announcement. Pay attention at SDCC. I like C2E2. I like the vibe. I like the event. I want it to be... I'm not sure I want it to be bigger. I want it to be more... important.
Yeah.
So that we get those announcements. I want cool shit to be announced here. Damn it.
The only panel I can think of where they at least gave you enough detail, like oh cool, was at the 2000 AD panel.
Yeah.
They revealed some stuff.
Peter Davison had some cryptic things that you can maybe combined with the episode that aired yesterday. You can sort of guess what might be in the anniversary special.
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing as making an announcement, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know on Twitter I saw the announcement, again, mentioning Paul Cornell, because I follow him on Twitter. He writes Wolverine right now.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
the biggest announcement I know of is the name of an upcoming Wolverine arc.
Killable Wolverine?
Called Wolverine Killable.
Wolverine Killable.
And it sounds interesting. However...
They didn't reveal much
Is the
else.
name of an arc really that exciting? Is it that big of an announcement? Actually, it reminds me, 2 years ago, the New 52, if you know a lot about mainstream comics in the last few years, you know that DC relaunched their entire universe. They renumbered everything back at number 1. And that announcement came out like 2 or 3 months after C2E2 2011. So every DC panel, they were telling you all about how excited they were for Action 900, how excited they were for like this long history to be respected. And they knew in the back of their heads, we're lying through our teeth. We're starting over at number 1. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a shame that they're not trying to make it more important, because I feel like if they made it more, started to make it more important, it would grow so much faster.
It does. It really takes one guy to one company to get their exclusive. Like, hey, you want to hear the big thing? Send your reporters to Chicago. We got a big thing.
Yeah.
And that could open the floodgates.
I mean, it's grown significantly in 2 years.
It's huge, man.
It's big.
The
show floor doubled in size in 2 years.
Considering this could be, the Comic-Con of the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's the only, one of really importance between
Wizard World Chicago exists, but it kind of blows, I hear. I've never been, but it kind of blows, I hear.
It's not a serious one, I don't feel like. It's kind of just for fun. It's not quite...
Also, their venue isn't nearly as large or as...
they can't keep growing.
They don't have the infrastructure to grow in Rosemont the way they do it in McCormick Place.
There's
here
still
downtown
more room to
in
grow
the city.
There.
McCormick Place is a great venue. If it's the biggest conference center in the city. It might be one of the biggest in the country, actually. It's got to be like top 5, man.
They have plans to expand it,
and they're making it bigger,
along with not only floor space but hotels, and the entire area around McCormick is looking to pop up within the next couple of years. It's the perfect place to do it.
C2E2 4th annual. Get in on the ground floor. Come next year. Actually, we were talking. We might do a panel next year.
Maybe.
We
don't know what it would be about.
We kicked around the idea of making it just Let's Play in general.
We don't want it to be about us because it would draw in a much smaller crowd. Because instead of it being PAX where everybody goes, this is a little more local.
Right. Because this isn't gaming. It's everything, but especially comics.
Yeah. There's a little bit of gaming.
PAX is gaming and everything connected to gaming.
Yeah. There were some small game booths. There was Monster Hunter 3,
you could
Dive
play
Kick,
new...
Oregon Trail.
They had a selection of gaming-based video game-based panels.
Yeah. How do I get my character into a video game? How do I do that?
Well, there were other more interesting things that would have had industry professionals in it as well.
There's something about this graphics in modern games or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's interest. We have minimum 3 people who watch our stuff. But yeah, we wouldn't want it to be about us because, on average, we get 12,000 views. Right?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
That's worldwide. I mean, those people aren't all coming to Chicago. We wouldn't be able to fill a room with just us. But,
no.
People who want to hear about, hey, you guys make these, what's hot in Let's Play? What the fuck is it? How do I start? How do I get... You do it, you goddamn
How
asshole.
do I break into the Let's Play industry?
How do you come up with your jokes?
Where do your... Ironicus, where do your jokes come from? Ironicus, I'm so worried right now because did you get that disease where black people turn white?
All right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I guess, hey, we met 2 people. It's out. I'm white, all right?
Oh my god. I kept it up for years.
How did I never know this?
See, this is the biggest announcement to come out of C2E2.
I drew a picture of you with purple eyeshadow and you were black once and everyone believed it!
Yeah, actually, you can go back. You can comb through everything I said. I never said yes to either.
Yeah.
I never said yes to Hispanic. That came up once. There's more than 2 races out there, you racist. Fuck off. I just thought it was funny to see, alright, I'm gonna sidebar again. If you care, it's from one of 2 reasons. You're racist and you may not know it, or you care way too much about people's voices on the internet and you may not know it, and you may also be a little racist.
It sounds black to me.
So there you
You're
go.
a stalker.
Yeah. I mean, that falls into the second one, I think.
Damn you!
Guess what? I'm taking ladies and also gay men. Actually, I wasn't available to gay men. Sorry, to burst your bubble.
Oh.
I hope you find other nice gay men. So that's C2E2, really?
That was C2E2. It was fun.
That's almost 2 hours of us bullshitting about 3 days of fun. It was great.
To next year's C2E2.
Yeah.
Also, unless I'm afraid of getting fatigued, I will probably also be at the next PAX East. Yeah. I was almost at this year's PAX East because Slow Beef and Diabetes wanted me to come. But
like I said, I was almost at this year's as well, but I'm getting married on June 22nd, and that means bills. Yeah. So I wasn't.
Something I just remembered.
I'd much rather get married than be around smelly gaming nerds.
Okay.
Something I just remembered. Maybe it's probably too late to look for it now, but in the podcast that Sobeef and all the others did for
Are you talking about Craigslist?
Do you think anybody tried to meet up with people to fuck for C2E2?
Let's find out right now!
All right.
This is second intermission. Can we put some dubstep elevator music in here? That seems appropriate.
Yo, I'm a YouTube partner. I can usually actually put that on there without having to pay money.
I don't use Craigslist. Search for C2E2.
Yeah. Well, you can go to. It's probably easier to go to.
Do we want to do misconnections or personals?
Okay. We need
strictly platonic. Hell no.
We need probably men seeking women.
Men seeking women, yes.
But also we want to get misconnections because I want to find Catwoman.
Okay. Well. Thank goodness for tabs in modern browsers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Technology is amazing.
I am all of those things.
And then you just
now I can search for C2E2.
Search for C2E2. Oh, we got
four. Where are the sexy nerds? Reading that first.
Oh my!
That is not a man.
I'm looking for gorgeous women who want to go to C2E2 with me. Get a nice meal and maybe a movie. A cool dude, black male, 5'11", but that's a picture of a sexy lady.
She's doing the, sexy librarian thing, though she is only wearing a coat and underwear.
This dude is just showing what he wants.
That's not who he is.
Is that a child's bedroom? The wallpaper looks...
This is a 22-year-old come-hither college student woman who is supposed to be the picture of a cool black male, 5'11", 230, age 40. I don't know what you're expecting, dude.
A cool dude.
Going to C2E2, I am.
30.
My picture is G.I. Joe.
Oh no, and Chris Redfield. Look at the other picture.
I don't know who to search for. Let me know if you're going. Just be white or Latin.
Oh no, I'll be dressed as pictures I posted. I saw a Chris Redfield!
Oh my god, we found him!
I hope that was him!
Too bad we are not women. Hey!
No!
Okay.
Not even Chris Redfield, he can punch a boulder into lava!
The weather's gonna be really nice this weekend. Would anyone would like to accompany me to the...
This isn't nearly as saucy as PAX.
That's not even a question, that's just a statement. Anyone would like to accompany me to the C2E2 event. That guy's confident as fuck.
Yeah. That's probably Tony Stark.
Yeah.
That's probably the sexy Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Just all misconnections.
It's all misconnections.
Oh, yeah.
Frog and snail host. Today, we sat outside and moved inside.
Coffee?
Coffee. ...
That frog was looking for a snail.
We took math class together at College of DuPage back in 2005. You sat at the table all the way in the front of the back. I'm an Indian, you're Caucasian. We had some Oriental teacher. This has nothing to do with C2E2. What the fuck?
Well, you have to research probably.
Oh, yeah, I didn't search yet.
Sorry, having internet problems.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
Lovely titties at C2E2!
Oh, yes. This is Women for Women.
While running wild with my nerdy tendencies yesterday, I saw the most beautiful and luscious pair of breasts I have ever laid eyes upon. Gorgeous, full, supple, encased in a black corset and ripe for the motorboating. Unfortunately, I was stuck waiting in an autograph line and lost sight of those lovely titties and the pretty girl they were attached to before I could bury my face in soft, fleshy goodness. This lady had a purple flower in her hair and a black corset with a purple top underneath. If you are she, contact me. Send pictures of your boobies so I can verify you are indeed the fabulously beautiful lady I am searching for.
You know, it might help if you knew what this lady's hair color were, about how tall. Long shot here, but you three were at the hotel bar at the Chicago South Loop Hotel. Star Wars tattoos, Transformer shirt, and your friend.
I would just like to say that the Chicago South Loop Hotel is a shithole. So, great idea staying there, people.
Also, I like that the third friend has no distinguishing characteristics.
I wasn't too interested in that one.
It's just Star Wars tattoos, Transformer shirt, and the other one. We chatted it up for a while about Noid-type things and what an ass my friend can be. You left after he spilled a drink on me. I guess that checks out. He's an ass.
Yeah.
I really should have got some information from you. I had the black beard.
Now I could go deliver some sandwiches.
TARDIS girl!
Where are you?
I'm sure you had guys drooling over you all day who love machines. So this is probably unnecessary and unwanted.
At least he acknowledges.
I want to say it anyway. I saw you around the con on a few times today. I was continually impressed not only with your costume inside the... You saw this costume!
Oh!
You told me about it.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh!
This was the one you were talking to me about because I was in that nerd game one, and you told me...
That's a great costume. She was on the arm of a man, though, when I saw her.
Yeah, she was.
I'd like to point that out.
If this gets to you, I'd love to buy you a drink and chat about your favorite doctor and why Don is the best companion.
She might not agree.
That's romantic.
Oh, yeah.
Stunning girl with glasses wandering C2E2 alone and drinking a beer. I saw you and I wanted to say hi. I was walking alone too.
Why didn't you say hi?
Your hair was darker with blonde streaks in it. You had some really cute bigger glasses on too. Hit me up.
Stormtrooper at C2E2.
Well, all these, there's a lot of
There's
ladies.
a picture with this one. There's a picture. Oh!
Oh man. How are you? This is like Revenge of the Nerds. It could be anybody under there.
My God.
Anyone can show up
You
and
don't
say,
know who
I
this
was wearing the Stormtrooper mask.
There were two Stormtroopers with Brian Posehn.
This is probably one of the 10 others.
Oh, God.
My friend and I saw you right before we went out. We ended up taking a picture with a typical prom pose. You grabbed our asses in the pic, but we didn't mind.
Oh, my.
We just really want to know what you look like. This
Wow.
was about 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. Oh, God. Why are stormtroopers copping feels? That's not nice.
I don't know. She was all right with it.
Lady Loki looking for Nightwing.
Oh, no! That Nightwing's package drew in people.
It had its own gravitational pull. It drew in a lot. It just continually drew in more pairs of socks. The best thing about this one is the title. I thought you looked amazing in your outfit and I'd love to get to know you better. This must have been a different Nightwing, because that's not true.
Jeez.
Men's
Oh, no, look at Casual Encounters.
We did? Oh, okay, Casual
We did
Encounters.
All of Casual Encounters.
all of
Scam
them.
alert!
I bet. Casual Encounters is fun stuff. C2.
There's got to be at least one. Oh, Lord! 13!
Let's do these in chronological
Oh,
order.
yeah.
Any furry's gonna be at C2E2 M for M. Would love to meet a furry at C2E2 and learn more. I guess this is like someone looking for a gateway into the furry community.
Looking to learn and experiment, comma.
I ain't a furry yet, but I'm
That
willing.
guy doesn't even end the sentence. He leaves it wide open. for
I want you to
possibilities.
teach me. Geeky couple looking for a girl for fun.
No, they're looking for a threesome. Shit.
Looking for someone like-minded. Are you a Marvel or DC? Do you like to cosplay? Think Daryl Dixon is sexy? Are these gatekeeping questions? Do you need to just have an answer, or do you need to have the right answer? I'm a bi-curious BBW girl looking for her first girly experience. My guy would like to join in too.
Dang. We could have walked by those people.
There are a lot of BBW ladies. Looking for a girl for some fun time. Another bi-curious girl. That's the same ad
one.
under a different
However,
title.
Daddy seeks baby girl. 53?
Oh, seeks baby girl sub. Perfect, preferred, but older baby girls are also nice. No sub-experience is fine. Oh, redheads go to the front of the line. Pick gets you pick. Oh,
Oh, Lord.
I'm looking to hook up. Not at the convention center.
Hit me up.
But maybe I could go to your place, or you to mine. Cool to meet someone while I'm on vacation. If this is up, I'm still looking.
After party.
After party, after party. Let's meet up. That one's really boring.
Boring. Looking for a cosplay CD/TV to please and play with?
So, is someone gonna cosplay as audio-visual equipment?
I don't know.
Would love to meet up, flirt, play, make out, make you feel like the gorgeous woman you are. Because I'm 41-year-old and not sad. Reply back with your fave cosplay. In the subject line. Man, everyone just looking for his cosplay girl. Oh!
Wow.
There's Power Girl, and there's her power. Although I do not partake in it. I love girls who dress up cosplay style.
Yeah.
I have a fantasy where I make out, and more, with someone dressed up. Photos are of reference only.
I imagine when he says he likes cosplay style, he like crosses his arms like he's really cool.
I like cosplay style. Anyone care to help? I know you are out there because of the C2E2 in Chicago.
Because of the C2E2, I am aware of your presence.
Craigslist needs to add a feature where there's like a check mark next to anything that was successfully filled.
Yeah.
I need to know who found their baby.
I want to know how successful this stuff is, obviously, because I'm still looking for Catwoman.
Anyone want to keep the cosplay going for another 420 or so? I'm a 28-year-old white man with a hard-on for women in cosplay. I can host, and I have plenty of everything. Look at all my shit. Oh man, I want to see Spring Breakers so bad. Oh, here,
Mutual.
go for it.
Oh, good.
Who wants this one?
All right. Horny male here for C2E2 wanting to suck and be sucked in someone's room in the same hotel.
Man, you got a long dick if you can do it in different hotels.
Looking all night. Text this number. I'm average, build clean, and 6.5 inches cut. Can text pics.
Oh, the rest of you or just the...
Man. Yeah, I've done it between different hotels before, and it's just a lot of work. I can do it. It kind of works like at banks where they have those pneumatic tubes that you put stuff in.
Really, you want eye of sight at least.
I got telescopes.
Fun top. Looking for quickie. C2E2 M for M, West Building. What's up, sexy dirty people looking for a chill dude to find a quiet corner with and make out or fool around in another location?
Oh, this dude wants to do it there.
Oh, yes.
I was hoping there was somebody like that.
Someone who has extra to hold, but not 2 tons of fun. Just 1. Cock size isn't a real issue, but no 3-inch stiffies. Man, I would...
12 noon is perfect because no one will notice a slip away.
If you were there, you know how much of a lie that is.
Yeah.
It was packed like 11 to 7 all day. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. There are no quiet corners.
I wonder if one of the dudes waiting was that role-playing Jack Sparrow who was sneaking around the bathroom.
Actually, the only place you could probably sneak out for a quickie was the Tabletop Gaming Lounge.
That's true.
Yes.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Nobody.
There were some curtains up in there.
Yeah. Yeah, right next to the kids area. What are you thinking?
Oh, no.
Hey.
I would love to meet up for some oral today in a bathroom. I'm with a group of friends, so I have to be discreet. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to go pee for like 15 minutes.
So I'm gonna go into this. I'm just going to the bathroom so my girlfriend can propose to me.
Oh, wait, that's the same phone number. This guy's double dipping.
Oh, geez.
This guy, you cheater. Hosting younger C2E2 guys. Older Italian-American guy, 5'7", coincidentally his age. 195 pounds, hosting legal-aged and above. Younger guys for hot, erotic, naked fun. Hot is all caps, naked is just capitalized.
Yeah.
I'm mobile. And live fairly close to McCormick Place. Yeah, I'd hate to see that guy, somebody in an iron lung. I don't want to meet up for anonymous sex, but
HMU, if any interest, with your stats.
stats, yeah, 18 strength, 12 dex. I live alone and able to host, also mobile, in case you didn't get the first time. So can pick you up, take you back. Back where? Back where, old Italian man? Where are we going?
Taking you back.
To the future?
Taking you back.
And with that...
That's like 2 hours.
That's 2 hours. That's 2 podcasts, man.
That's 2. Maybe I will split it up into 2.
Maybe. So I hope you liked the Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo. We sure did. I hope you liked us talking about it. Probably a little less. So yeah, good time. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Bye.
And then there's music.
And then there's music.
And then there's music.
Oh, and we should probably edit in a thanks. Before we cut it, thanks to Retsutalk for letting us steal their podcast for 1 and possibly 2 episodes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm over here now, so I sound more distant.
Good night again, folks.
Good night.
Thank you.